Baldur's Gate 3 has been around for quite some time now, and most dedicated players are already having fun, casually clearing honor mode or doing challenge runs. But it seems that Larian Studios will soon be adding more challenges to their most brutal mode by introducing more legendary actions and mechanics as teased in the patch number 6 among other updates. So for today, I'll be introducing a team that will easily get you that honor mode clear for the first time, or maybe that re-clear guaranteed. This team can go online really early, as well as having the most disgusting synergies ever, from the immortal tank, unfair striker, ridiculously effective blaster, and amazing support. So buckle up and let's build an overpowered team. We're starting with the Leroy Jenkins of Baldur's Gate 3. Leroy! And this build just doesn't care. I'm talking about the ferocious tank, which is the Savage. This build is just the embodiment of savagery and pure rage, literally running into groups of enemies armed with just its primal fury, while taking damage and life-stealing it all back like nothing happened. This is possible using the power of the Barbarian and the Fighter, particularly the Tiger Heart from the Wild Hearts subclass. That allows the Savage to cleave down 3 enemies with the use of its Tiger's Bloodlust. This also inflicts 2 turns of bleed per target hit. While progressing through the levels, we also improve our savagery by unlocking the animal aspect of the tiger that doubles our strength modifier against bleed and poison targets. But that is only a part of the equation to how this monster can out-sustain its enemies and destroy them. In order to benefit from our reckless playstyle, we are using the Shattered Flail as our main weapon. This bad boy can be easily acquired in Act 1, where you just kill a bunch of drogs. That is why you are really powerful as early as level 3 with this particular build and weapon. The Shattered Flail provides lifesteal of 1 to 6 hit points per enemy hit. While having the ability to lifesteal is fine, there is also an issue of RNG from the healing aspect of this weapon. In order to eliminate that, we are using the Periapta Wound Closure to maximize the healing output every single hit. We are also utilizing the power of elemental acid damage to our full advantage, applying the Noxious Fumes effect, using our draconic elemental weapons, or maybe the use of our rings. This will cause a cloud of noxious fumes to any enemies that is unfortunate enough in its AoE that will take 1d4 acid damage per enemy turn. The acid damage will also affect the Savage, but it doesn't matter. It will recover it as quickly as it can cleave its enemies without a care in the world. If you bring the Savage into battle, it will guarantee you a very powerful frontliner to keep your enemies occupied for our second member of the squad, which is our Killzone Striker, which is one of the most unfair bard builds in the game, introducing the Skirmisher. It has access to the amazing flourishes from the College of Swords subclass that can let you attack 2 targets in a turn, mixed with the Champion subclass for the added crit chance. But what? Before you roll your eyes, saying that again with this crit bard builds, this build is not your typical crit stacking bard that you've seen a dozen times before, because we are introducing the Great Old One. Yes, we are using crit to induce literally the fear condition to our targets. This is what makes this build so much powerful. Stacking as many crit modifier gears as possible, like the Seravox Helm, Shadeslayer Cloak, passives, and so much more. This will increase the chances of turning your enemies into training dummies that just stands around unable to do anything, while the Skirmisher just keeps raining down the pain. In addition to that, we have some really nasty things that the build can do. While your enemies just stand there, we are gonna bring more misery to their lives using the Noxious Fumes condition that causes anyone in an AoE to take 1d4 acid damage per turn. As I mentioned before, Noxious Fumes stacks, so you can literally stack 3 noxious fumes on top of each other that deals 1d4 damage each turn, making it a really effective kill zone. I actually showcased the skirmisher using its solo capabilities, but if you introduce a frontliner that loves taking damage, like the Savage, well, let's just say your enemies can only cry as you bully them to death. But if that's not enough for you, we can have our third member of the team that'll take your kill zone striker to the next level to make it really disgusting. Introducing a blaster that has one of the most nastiest AoE and spells that is a real nightmare to fight against. Enemies will tremble on how untouchable this monster can be, especially if they unfortunately got caught in its trap. I'm talking about the Cryo Mage. This build is just so much fun to use. Literally playing around your enemies as they struggle to get out of your CC is just hilarious. This nasty blaster utilizes the power of Frost Sorcerer and the Warlock to its full potential, having the elemental affinity of ice, while freezing your enemies and surfaces to knock them prone is just one of the parts to its toolkit. It achieves this by using the Snowburst Ring that creates a 4.5 meter circle of ice around the target when we deal cold damage like the Ray of Frost, paired with the Cold Brim Hat that also inflicts encrusted frost debuffs to a target, which provides disadvantage to dexterity saving throws, increasing the chances for them to get prone on icy surfaces. It also has one of the widest and most powerful AoE spells in the game, as well as the prone status for one turn in a AoE. We will be amplifying that damage with the use of the Spellmite Gloves that adds 1d8 to both damage types. Why not also add more debuffs to the elemental damage for added pain? But we aren't done yet. While we're at it, we can drop the Hunger of Adar to blind those enemies while they take 2 to 12 cold or acid damage per opponent turn. Not to mention, it also makes the already difficult ice surface much more difficult, pushing your lucky enemies who escaped your CC into the Hadar and ice surfaces using your Eldritch Blast is just therapy. Watching your target's futile struggle just to get pushed back into the horror is just like
right to jail. You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away. You're driving too fast, jail. Slow, jail.
To add insult to injury, we'll be synergizing with the skirmisher to keep your targets in place. While using the fear plus the noxious fumes, I can almost hear them cry in absolute agony. This may be the nastiest kill zone that I've ever designed, and I love it. Finally, the glue that keeps this team together and the soul of your party that is the one that will take them to the next level. This is our controller and our active support that can lock down your targets using its hold person or the amazing plethora of CC spells from the College of Lore subclass. It can also use command while dishing out path healing capabilities of the Light Cleric. Introducing the Witch Doctor, it is not your average deadbeat healer that just stands around waiting to heal anyone. It provides so much advantages to your allies, it's just ridiculous. When you heal your allies using the Whispering Promise Ring to increasing his HP with aid as well as blessing them for that added bless buff. It uses the Beacon of Hope that removes the RNG aspect of the healing spells to provide maximum amounts of healing every single time. What's really cool is that it can utilize the Failure Alluve, particularly the Failure Alluve Sing and Shriek, to stack either damage of 1d8 or a disadvantage to your enemies. In addition to that, let's just include a Bardic Inspiration for good measure and you will have so much advantages that it is impossible for you to fail. Not only that, what sets this healer apart is the debuff that it can stack its enemies with. Using the poison debuff while initiating it with your poison spells like Poison Spray or using a weapon like a Staff of Crones. If you want to really go fancy, you can also spread Radiating Orb stacks. Just pick whatever you like. To be honest, just having the Witch Doctor alone as a healer, buffer, or maybe a debuffer battery for your team would guarantee you that victory every single time. Now it's time for us to talk about reallocation of the items due to the overlap from all of the 4 members of our party. Most of the items that I'll be mentioning will be available to you across all acts, So most likely you will be having fun in using these items as early as possible. First is the Enchorus gloves that will be beneficial to the striker and the tank. We'll be reallocating this to the striker. As a replacement, we'll be giving the luminous gloves to the tank. That will provide the radiating orb charges every single time that we have radiating damage. Amulet of the Devout is up next. That will benefit the blaster and the controller. We'll be reallocating it to the blaster. Face Semblance Amulet is the replacement for the controller, while the Marco Heshgear will be going to the controller, and we will be replacing the Staff of Spell Power to the blaster. As for the Failure Aloof, we'll be allocating it to the controller because of its value that it can offer to this class. Elda's Boots will go to the controller, Evasive Shoes will be the striker's replacement. Callous Glow Ring will go to the tank, and this will provide the radiating orb charges with the help of our gloves. Crustacean Ring will go to the blaster because of the really wide AoE spell that it can dish out. Caustic Band will go to the striker for that acid damage, and it will trigger the Enchorus Gloves abilities. The replacement will be the Ring of Protection for the tank, and finally the Risky Ring will go to the striker for that added advantage to its attack rolls. Alright guys, thank you for watching the videos. All of the builds that I mentioned include a 1 to 12 step-by-step guide if you want to go into detail on how each build works. Anyway, would love to know about your thoughts about the video as well as your questions or clarifications in a comment down below. Don't forget to like the video if you guys enjoy these builds. Shoutouts for all the people who subscribe and keep supporting the channel. I really appreciate you guys for all the amazing support. And for all the people who haven't subscribed yet, thank you guys for watching the videos, and I hope I earn subscriptions in the future. But if I earn it today, please don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot. If you want to support me directly, please consider joining our D20 Rollers Club by hitting the join button. I also have Patreon if you want to go that route. Finally, that's it for me. Hope to see you soon on the next Master Box Show. Peace out. Bye guys.
Hey, what the fuck?